Shalom, I'm Rabbi Gail Schuster-Buskila, and today I'd like to talk to you about the ninth Torah portion for the book of Exodus, Tisa. And it is one with a rollicking set of activities and problems that are almost second to none in any parasha that you can think of. And the idea I came up with was something where your equilibrium is undermined. And I like to talk about the metaphor that I've used for this parasha, and I have to do it with a little bit of music and some visuals because I think that we are looking at a difficult parasha. As you can see, I have titled the parasha, the Midrash for Parashat Tisa, Test of Resolve. And I believe this has to do with both sides, both the side of Moses and the side of the people, the children of Israel. I really suggest this wonderful website, Sefaria, where you can actually see the entire parasha. We're not going to deal with all the variety of different things, but we do know that at one point Moses goes up to get the tablets of the Ten Commandments. Not the same thing as when in Parashat Yitro, the children of Israel, were supposed to have heard the Ten Commandments uttered on the mountain or some such thing. But we're going to talk about the ideas here of the fact that Moses has been up on the mountain and something has happened. And God is explaining what's happening here, but this is a difficult portion. The fact that the resolve of the people was not strong enough to withstand separation from Moses, and they turned to Aaron and asked to have another God made for them. I find this to be a most disconcerting Parashat Tisa. My video is called On Equilibrium. I feel that something has happened to this people that just began from the exodus of Egypt, and something has happened to them. Something strange. They aren't on solid ground. We talk in Exodus 32, the first verse, that they're waiting for Moses. When the people saw that Moses was so long in coming down from the mountain, the people gathered against Aaron and said to him, Come, make us a God who shall go before us, for that fellow Moses, the man who brought us from Egypt, the land of Egypt, we do not know what has happened to him. And then in Moses' absence, things get worse. Moses doesn't really know how to deal with this whole crowd. And he says, You men take off the gold rings that are on your ears of your wives, your sons, your daughters, and bring them to me. And all the people took off the gold rings that were on their ears and brought them to Aaron. A crazy thing to do. Don't forget they'd also taken some from their neighbors, gold and silver. And the people took off the gold rings. And then he took them and cast them in a mold and made it into a molten calf. It could be a mask, it could be a molten calf. This is from Sefaria, a translation, so they called it a molten calf. And they exclaimed, This is your God, O Israel, who brought you out of the land of Egypt. But not too long before that, they had actually heard in the Ten Commandments, God spoke all these words, saying in Exodus 20, I, Yahweh, am your God who brought you out of the land of Egypt, the house of bondage. You shall have no other gods besides me. You shall not make for yourself a sculptured image or any likeness of what is in the heavens above or on the earth below or in the waters under the earth. For goodness sake, something has happened to this people. They just heard these words and they're already doubting. Returning to my Midrash, after the verses and between the verses, I have written, a furious storm is one in which brutal waves relentlessly attack the deck, wave after wave crashing ever louder and louder, dashing hope and spirit, solid and solidarity each time ever more harshly and soundly. Things go wrong, the sky falls in, the air is hard to breathe, the wind blows in huge gusts, the waves overwhelm the ship, the captain cannot be found, so the crew wavers. Order is forgotten in a time of chaos. Everyone panics and prays for the storm to subside. Sometimes it does, but sometimes it doesn't. A little later in my Midrash, I say these words. Adversity is like the challenge of an unexpected storm to test the mettle of the vessel, the crew, and even the passengers. Will they overcome or succumb? Inescapable as adversity may be, hope often lies in the fervent prayer of those caught on board. I talk about the stormy times with the metaphor of the ship being tossed at sea, the stormy times in this Torah portion of Tisa at the time of the Golden Calf. As you know, I believe that these are myths and ideas and legends that have come down through the ages to teach us particular lessons. And the lessons have to do with the moral and ethical ideas behind the Ten Commandments. The Ten Commandments were, in a sense, the way that the beginning of the laws that would constitute the people of Israel. Not just the children, but the people of Israel, as we say in Hebrew, Am Yisrael. But here, at this moment, waiting for Moses and only having Aaron with them, they are in trouble. And they aren't sure what's going to happen to them. I've also included a piece of La Mer by Debussy because I wanted you to get the feeling not only visually but from all of your senses, more of your senses, of what the turbulence must have been like at that scene when the people were trying to find a way to hold on to something. They didn't know what to think anymore without Moses, and so they, as well as Aaron, returned to making some god, something to represent the god. It subsides when Moses goes, but the problems aren't really over. I would like to use this, also these few minutes at the end here, to think about the Ten Commandments themselves, the Ten Commandments that were supposed to be the guiding moral and ethical ideas that would make a community of monotheists. And so here it says, as we can see, that there are some very important ideas in the Ten Commandments. But not just literal Ten Commandments, but the idea of Sinai. Thus we, as well as they, should not have ignored, cannot ignore Sinai, but rather need to reinterpret this event, so it will continue to function for us. Sinai teaches us that fundamental moral truths are in some part of the fabric of the universe, and that at the root of the Jewish belief is the conviction that morality, justice, and mercy are therefore divine. In a poetic and metaphorical, though never literal sense, these qualities endure as the Word of God. I like the tranquility of this safe harbor that the ship has found. There will be many ups and downs for the people of Israel, but at least once Moses returns and things get back to normal, not immediately, but things get back to normal, maybe they will all find this peace and this quiet as in this picture of a beautiful harbor. Unlike the Parashat Tisa, we're on solid ground. I'm sitting on a chair in a room, not on a ship, not tossed by the waves. And I hope that all of you have a comfortable Shabbat Ki Tisa, Shabbat Shalom.